Good evening. Wait for a few people to jump on and then we will get started. New documents, people. I got new documents. I got new documents that have never been seen on YouTube. And I'm going to share them today. I'm going to share them. That is dealing with the Dylan Rounds case. Dylan Rounds. James Brenner. James Brenner. How's everyone doing? Good evening. Still working hard. Three cases now. Summer Wells. Jumped on the Michael Vaughan case. And I've been on the Dylan Rounds case. Before I share these documents here, I actually shared the documents with Dylan Rounds' father, Justin. Just gave him, shared him with the same documents, told him, share them with you first. Because maybe he would be interested in seeing this. A little bit of behaviors and insight about James Brenner, the prime suspect in Dylan Rounds' disappearance. The prime suspect. So wait for a few more to come on, and then I will get started. Come on in. Bring a friend. Let's talk true crime. So one of my strengths, everyone has strengths and weaknesses, right? And one of my strengths is that I like to file open records requests, Sunshine Law requests, Freedom of Information Act requests. I literally do it. I literally spend 2 hours of my day submitting requests all around the country. And that is the point of this video too. On the Dylan Rounds case, I've been submitting public records requests in North Dakota, Maryland, Maine, Connecticut, Utah, and Nevada about the Dylan Rounds case. Because James Brenner and Dylan Rounds, connected in different states, particularly James Brenner. I want to know about James Brenner. I want to know about prime suspect James Brenner, who, it looks like the feds have their guy and they're just trying to get a confession out of him or a, something, making a deal. I am Team Summer. I am Team Summer. You've always around. You do great work. Always out there trying to find out what happened to Summer Wells. I'm going to talk about Summer Wells in a bit, but I want to talk about Dylan Rounds' case, James Brenner, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the Michael Vaughan case. I also got documents today. Actually, the Fruitland Police Department responded to my records request today, so I'm going to share that correspondence that I got with them too. But first, I want to talk about Brenner. Again, I file records requests all over the place, and you guys and anyone out there can utilize the same thing I'm doing, right? It's being inquisitive. You do find a little bit of insight when you get these, submit these records requests. These agencies, by law and policy, have to respond to you and provide you open records. They have to, particularly like old cases like James Brenner. My interest in James Brenner is his criminal cases from other states. North Dakota, Maine, Maryland. Those states, James Brenner has been arrested and detained in. What's that beeping sound? It's probably my phone. I get a lot of messages in the process too. Messages are flying at me all the time. I give my number, I give my email, I do take tips. A lot of you guys send me a lot of stuff on the Summer Wells case constantly on the Summer Wells case. Let me see if I can get rid of the beeping sound and turn down the volume. How about that? Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Hopefully we don't deal with the beeping again. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Thumbs up. Can you hear me? And then we will go. Thumbs up. Can you hear me? Okay, thumbs up. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about James Brenner. So I've been filing some requests in North Dakota. He's been arrested numerous times in North Dakota for minor crimes, but this one here is interesting because I got the affidavit of probable cause and it led to some new stuff, and this stuff has not been reported on YouTube. I don't even know if a media outlet has been reporting on this, nothing. So I submitted an open records request to the North Dakota Highway Patrol because I saw in a background check that James Brenner was arrested by them. And I wanted to see what it was about. So I'll spin the camera around. This is a request I sent to the North Dakota Highway Patrol. And they sent it to me today. Here is the case report you requested. And they attached a file. So we're going to click on that file. And here we go. This is an incident report dealing with James Adrian Brenner. That is the suspect who is now in federal custody for, weapons, being a felon in possession of a firearm. It looks like in 2017, 3/20/2017, in the northwest region of North Dakota, looks like Burleigh County. Looks like Highway 94, so I believe that is Interstate 94 in Burleigh County. Mr. Brenner was pulled over. James Adrian Brenner, he was pulled over. This is in 2017. He was pulled over for a traffic stop. He was arrested based off a warrant, failure to yield at an intersection, and registration card to be carried in the vehicle. Looks like the city was Sterling, North Dakota. So, here we go. Here is the facts of his arrest. And this is interesting. Right here. Matter of fact, I'm going to put the phone down and I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to read you the facts of what happened that day. 3/20/2017. Ready? All right. So, on 3/20/2017 at approximately 17:19, I, Trooper Jeremiah Vaughan, BOHN, badge number 239, was stopped at a red light at the intersection of Expressway and exit 161 eastbound. Oncoming traffic was stopped as well. When the lights turned green and when traffic proceeded, a vehicle that was stopped in the southbound left turn lane accelerated into the intersection, causing oncoming traffic to yield. The vehicle turned onto exit 161's eastbound on-ramp. I activated my emergency lights and stopped the vehicle without incident on the ramp. So we got stopped on the oncoming ramp. Upon approach of the vehicle, I identified the driver as James Brenner using his North Dakota driver's license. Mr. Brenner found an insurance card but informed me that he could not find the registration card. Mr. Brenner did not look in the glove box. Mr. Brenner appeared nervous and was jittery. Mr. Brenner informed me he had a warrant out of Maryland. Mr. Brenner wanted me to see a letter he had in his pocket from 2012 that stated they would not extradite. There was a large dog in the vehicle. I asked Mr. Brenner to come back to my patrol vehicle. I had Mr. Brenner leave his pocket knife in his vehicle. Inside my patrol vehicle, I conducted a records check on Mr. Brenner. I received an NCIC warrant match out of Prince George's County, Maryland. I received a CWIS warrant indication out of Mercer County. I asked State Radio to confirm the warrants. State Radio confirmed the Mercer County warrant. State Radio said there was a positive indication from Maryland, but they needed about an hour to positively confirm the warrant. I arrested Mr. Brenner on the Mercer County warrant. Mr. Brenner had been cooperative and was wide-shouldered and large individual, so I put handcuffs on Mr. Brenner in front in reverse grip. Upon searching Mr. Brenner, I found 3 9mm casings in his jacket. Mr. Brenner is a convicted felon for the crime of violence and is not supposed to be in possession of a weapon. I called Bismarck Animal Control to come to the scene to take custody of the dog. Officer Thune from Bismarck Animal Control came to the scene and took possession of the dog. With Mr. Brenner's permission, I moved his vehicle further off the roadway, secured it, and applied a 48-hour tag on it. As I was transporting Mr. Brenner to Burley Detention Center, I received a call from Mike Alt from Prince George's County. Officer Alt stated the warrant was valid. Officer Alt said he was going to speak with his state's attorney in the morning and his supervisor to see if they would extradite from North Dakota. Officer Alt said they regularly issue warrants for states east of the Mississippi River. Officer Alt said there was a very old warrant and wasn't sure what they would do. Officer Alt said he would be in touch. Furthermore, Officer Alt said if they were able to change the extradition boundaries, no indication would come through a records check if Mr. Brenner was to be reprocessed. Officer Alt said Mr. Brenner could be released if he didn't receive his response from NCIC at any time. I transferred custody of Mr. Brenner to the Burley County Detention Center staff at approximately 1835. I informed the jail staff of a Maryland warrant situation. The jail supervisor said they would hold Mr. Brenner on the NCIC warrant. The CWIS warrant had a $150 bond, which Mr. Brenner had in his wallet at the time. The next morning, I received a call from Officer Alt stating that the Prince George's County State's attorneys would not adjust the extradition boundaries. The NCIC status remains nationwide. However, the state's attorney said they would not extradite Mr. Brenner. Officer Alt informed me he put a letter in Mr. Brenner's file to inform officers that a call for a warrant verification that Mr. Brenner would only be extradited if he was found east of the Mississippi River. I called Burley Detention Center to inform them that they did not need to hold Mr. Brenner on the NCIC warrant any longer. The jail requested the release in writing. I gave the jail staff Officer Alt's phone number to make arrangements. End of report. So, Mr. Brenner, James Brenner, the suspect in the Dylan Rounds case, was pulled over in 2017. And the officer, the North Dakota Highway Patrol officer, ran a background on him. After Brenner told the officer right away, "Hey, I got a warrant on I got a warrant out of Maryland," and Brenner had a letter in his pocket talking about the out-of-state warrant from Maryland as if they wouldn't extradite him. So the officer ran his name, found out he had actually two warrants. One, an NCIC warrant out of Prince George's, Maryland, and another one, a CWIS warrant out of Mercer County, and then detained him. He had 9mm shells on him and a large dog. He had a large dog on him. So, went to the detention center. They were calling Prince George's County's prosecutor and all of them, and they decided, no, they're not going to extradite Mr. Brenner because he's not east of the Mississippi River. I guess there are warrants in Maryland for that Prince George County case. Now, that Prince George County case, I believe, is from that 1986 charge where Brenner did that attempted murder charge and got the felony conviction. And he was put on probation. And in the way, if you read the dockets on that case, and you can go to the Prince George County's website to look up his case, there was, over the years, warrants or failure to appear on those cases. So it was interesting. The case was open, but they didn't extradite him back. Imagine if they extradited Brenner back to Maryland. Dylan Rounds could still be alive today because Brenner would have took a different route. He was in North Dakota. I'm going to show you where Burleigh County is, by the way. Let me show you the map. I'm going to show you the map of Burleigh County. Burleigh County, that is North Dakota. It is the center county by Bismarck. So we got, let's see, Sterling. That's where he got pulled over. He was in Sterling, North Dakota, right off Interstate 94. He got pulled over. That is the map. That is the map. You know what's interesting? That's there. The warrant is only because the warrant was out of Maryland. That is the Mississippi River. They won't extradite anyone east of the Mississippi River. He was west of the Mississippi River, so they didn't extradite him. They didn't extradite Brenner, and they let him out. He had another warrant out of Mercer County, which was like a bond, and he gave $150 and bonded out. Because remember, people, show you something. From this point, he was in North Dakota, I believe, for another year or two. Then he worked his way down to Lucin. He actually, believe it or not, in 2016, he actually bought property on the Nevada side in Elko County, believe it or not. I did a video on that, by the way. He bought 10 acres. He bought 10 acres. So I'm wondering if Brenner would have been extradited back to Prince George's County on that warrant, would he have taken a different path and not made his way to Lucin? Would he have taken a different path? Would he have been held in Maryland for, however, and then get out and go a different direction instead of going back? Would have, could have. Would have, could have. But that brings some insight. He did have some shells on him. He didn't have a gun on him. He had a knife on him. He had some shells, 9mm shells. He was indicted, a few years prior in North Dakota, and I posted the video on weapons charges. He had like a dozen weapons in North Dakota. He was picked up in Nebraska, got extradited back to North Dakota around 2012, and then got indicted and got 33 months in federal prison from 12, 13, and got out in 14. Followed by like 3 years supervised release. I read his court files. Believe it or not, he got off supervised release early. They let him off early. Let him off like 4 or 5 months early off his probation. So it seems like he gets pulled over again in Burleigh County, has those 9mm shells. So he has shells on him then. No gun, but he had shells. I don't know. Maybe he had a gun in the car. Maybe the officer didn't thoroughly search. Maybe the officer didn't thoroughly search. And he had a big dog. I wonder what happened to the dog. Did he bring a dog down with him to Lucin? He had a big dog. Let me see that again. He had a big dog, and they actually call it animal control. Now, it's interesting because when you get files and records, it opens up a new can of worms and, it takes me down another path. I was not aware prior to reading this about any type of warrants in Mercer County. That was the new. He had a CWIS warrant out of Mercer County, Maryland. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down that rabbit hole and see what that's about, to paint a picture on who this guy is. Yes, he was the squatter. And I don't know why he squatted on the Rounds property. I mean, Dylan's mom spoke to the media a couple days ago, gave an update. She really, she said, they were helping. They were helping around the family farm. And you also heard, look at the description of, look at the description that I said. I'll read it again. The description of Mr. Brenner. Mr. Brenner had been cooperative and was a wide-shouldered and large individual. So I put handcuffs on Brenner in front in reverse grip. So Brenner got handcuffed, but because he was so big, broad shoulders, instead of being handcuffed like this, the trooper had to handcuff him like this. He couldn't get handcuffed. So he's a big dude as far as wide, burly dude. It's a pretty big dude. I got one mugshot from him out of North Dakota. I cannot get the mugshots of Brenner from Utah, from his recent arrest. The Box Elder County Sheriffs will not give me Brenner's mugshot. And no one has posted Brenner's mugshot from Utah on his recent arrest because they have some weird law there in Utah that just passed saying anyone arrested can still get their privacy rights. And the only way a mugshot of an individual that gets arrested in Utah can be released is after they're convicted. They will not release mugshots of anyone in Utah from now on that get arrested until after their conviction. It's a weird law. They just passed it. Look it up. I did a video on it. So there you have it about Brenner. Brenner's a troublemaker. Oh, so at the time in 2017, he was driving I'll show you this. Well, I don't want to actually, I'll show it. He was driving a Chevrolet Silverado 1994. James Adrian Brenner. January, February, March. March 20th, 2017. Pulled over by the Highway Patrol. Now, I asked them also for the mugshot of him during that arrest. And they responded back to me. Look, they responded back to me on that record. Good morning. I received your request. However, the North Dakota Highway Patrol does not take mugshots. So I wasn't able to get the mugshot. Who is this idiot here that's writing racial stuff? Is someone, where's my mods? Can somebody release or get rid of this idiot? How do you get rid of people? Oh, I can remove him. Hold on. How do we hide user? Put in timeout. Okay, pal. I put you in timeout. Nice try. Nice try, pal. All right. He's in timeout. He's in timeout. All right, so you got Brenner's records. Let's talk about Michael Vaughan. I sent the Fruitland. Oh, this guy's back at it again. Hold on. Let me see if I can remove this guy. Hide user on this channel. Yeah, I'm removing him. Bear with me. All right. You're out of there, buddy. Oh, he's back at it. Nice. Who wants to be a mod? Who wants to be a mod and take this guy out? I'll add mod right now and take this guy out for me. Here you go, Tracy. I'm going to mod you and you can take this guy out. Take him out, nerdy girl. Take him out. All right, so we're going to talk about the next records, right? Sorry about that, people. You know, I don't know where my mods are. They're out. All right, so we're going to talk about, here's the next open records request. Now, this one with Michael Vaughan is interesting because I put the Fruitland Police Department in a position to either acknowledge that a record exists or them not providing me the records. And here's what I sent them. I sent the Fruitland, and this is for the Michael Vaughan case. That's why I titled this video, Michael Vaughan. Here we go. So, the record I asked right here, under the Idaho Public Records request, I, Jonathan Riches, with Original Media Group, request the following open records in your possession and control. 1. Copies of toxicology and drug testing done on Robert Tyler Vaughn and Brandy Neal, parents of missing Michael Vaughan, between 7/27/2001 through present day 7/27/2002, including dates and times. Reminder that Idaho Code 74-103 states that you must respond to my request within 3 days. Respectfully, Jonathan Riches, Original Media Group. So, I asked them via an Idaho Public Records Act request copies of toxicology and drug testing done on Robert Tyler Vaughn and Brandy Neal, parents of Michael Vaughan, between 7/27/2021 through present day today, including dates and times. So I'm asking them for records of toxicology and drug testing. I want to know, at the time when Michael Vaughan was missing, went missing 1 year ago today, around the time or a little bit after, if authorities drug tested the father and the mother. And why is that important? I think it's very important. I want to know what drugs were in the father's system. Was he on drugs? Was Robert Tyler Vaughn on drugs when Michael Monkey went missing? What do you think? So they responded to me. They responded to me pretty quickly on this request. And here's the response. Here's the response from Pam Duncan. Good afternoon, Jonathan. I am unable to release any information at this time. However, I forwarded your email for the records request you are wanting to obtain to our Pate City and County prosecutors, as this is still an open and ongoing investigation at this time. I appreciate your patience in your request. Something very interesting with that response. I am unable to release any information at this time. That might be they're out. However, I forward your email for records requests you are wanting to obtain to the prosecutor's office, as this is still an open and ongoing investigation at this time. So they're not providing me drug testing or toxicology because of an open investigation. Does that mean that their records do exist? Because a lot of times when you file a records request with an agency, if there is records, they will tell you that. We can't release the records due to an ongoing active investigation, blah, blah, blah. But if the records don't exist, they will say records don't exist. And they didn't say that. Though they said, I am unable to release any information at this time. Is that they're out to say, well, we can't tell you if there is or isn't? What do you think? What do you think? I am going to continue to send this Fruitland Police Department records request to try to obtain information. I want to know, this is the next records I want to know about Michael Vaughan case. I want to know all calls that the Fruitland Police Department or County Sheriff's Office made or went to, all calls to that home where Michael Vaughan lives with Tyler, the father, and Brandy. All calls to that home from, I'll just say, 2015 all the way up to the day before, Summer Wells, the day before Michael Vaughan went missing. So we'll say from 1/1/15 all the way up to 7/26, 2021. I want to know all times and dates and calls and reasons on why police went to the home. If they went at all, they might not have. Because you would think before the day Michael Vaughan went missing would be not part of the investigation, unless it's something ongoing. Something ongoing. So the point of this video today, and thank you for, coming on to the, not much people on tonight, but I did give some good information about James Brenner. Going to the Summer Wells case. Some of you guys out there have been sending me emails willing to submit Tennessee public records request with agencies in Tennessee. The problem that I have is I'm not a Tennessee resident. All these other states, like I just sent to Utah, anyone, any one of us, anyone out you could do it in Australia, you could do it in New Zealand, you could do it in the UK, you could do it in Florida, New York, wherever. Any one of us can send Utah a records request and they have to, or Idaho, records request and they have to respond. There's no provision saying that non-residents can't get records. We all can get records. We all can submit the request. And if they choose to release the records, they can or they cannot. But in Tennessee, where Summer Wells lives, you can't get the records unless you are a Tennessee resident. So what they want you to do is when you file a request, they'll respond and say, are you a Tennessee resident? If you say yes, they'll say, send us a copy of your driver's license or lease or some sort of utility to prove that you're a Tennessee resident. If you do not provide that, you don't get the records. So yes, Tennessee, please help, because I have a lot of unanswered questions I want to ask these agencies. DCS, Hawkins County Sheriffs, Sullivan County Sheriffs, Washington County Sheriffs, Greene County Sheriffs, the surrounding counties around where Summer Wells lives. And believe me, people, believe me, I file these requests all day long. Not just with these 3 cases, but many, many, many cases. I just filed some in Palm Beach County, Florida, because there's a missing woman there in Palm Beach County, Jacqueline Reyes, 30 years old. I was just pounding them with requests today. I actually spoke to her mom today in an interview, an exclusive interview. I'm going to post that interview. That mother is so devastated. I can't even imagine a parent losing their child, literally. But the difference between, here's the difference between the woman I spoke to today. Her name was actually Jacqueline Reyes too. So is Jacqueline Reyes. She's from Nevada. Her daughter, who's also Jacqueline Reyes Jr., Jacqueline Reyes, went missing in Palm Beach County. You got to check this case. It's crazy. It's crazy. She was with her aunt at a home in Palm Beach. And then her and her aunt got in a fight at like June 1st. And then her aunt said she just left. And then she just vanished. And then her aunt didn't report her missing for a month. And the mother didn't know she was missing for a month. So it's starting to get a little bit of media attention. I saw it was brought to my attention. I reached out to the mother. I gave the mother some insight about the aunt, and I was real. I said, do you think the aunt did it? The aunt that she was last with. And she said, yeah, she knows something, and because I gave her some disturbing stuff I found on the aunt. So I said, be real. You think the aunt did it? So we just, we had a communication. I said, do you mind if I interview you? I'll get the story out, bring awareness to your daughter. I have a big platform. I can, share the information and everything like that. And she was totally cool. And she shared a lot. But the difference between her and a mother that's actually trying to find their child and somebody like Candace Wells, who's all bottled up and not doing a thing, is night and day. This woman ends out here is just devastating, trying to do anything she can do to file, she was crying. Anything she could do and help in her power to find her daughter. We haven't seen that with Candace Wells. Not at all. Not at all. Candace Wells should have been out there every single day, searching through every single nook and cranny in that holler, looking for Summer. all day, every day, handing out flyers, going on media, talking to the media every day, pleading for help, not calling the police on people that are trying to help, which Candace has a pattern of doing. Oh yeah, people out there looking for Summer Wells. It don't matter if you're whoever you are. You're out there trying to find a little girl and you're going to call the police on them. That have good intentions of trying to find a little girl and you're going to call the police on her. That's very, very disturbing to me. But yeah, I'm going to release that video probably tomorrow. I'm going to have to put it together and edit it and everything like that. She's totally cool, wants it out there, and she wants to share the story. And Jacqueline Reyes, just Google her, Jacqueline Reyes. I'll be speaking more about her this weekend. I'm going to Orlando, Florida. There is a missing woman there that made news back in December, Paola Miranda. She was seen swimming in the swamp in the Wekiva Springs State Park, and then she vanished and everything like that. So her family is organizing a search again and handing out flyers in the community on Saturday. I asked if I can join them. They said yes. I'm going to go there and document and share and put Paola's image out there because it's been, months. This happened back in December, and no one knows anything about what happened to Paola Miranda. Michael Vaughan case. Michael Vaughan. I seem to gravitate towards this. I'm trying to analyze every interview that Brandy and Robert Tyler Vaughn has made. I'm seeing huge discrepancies in what Brandy said. True Crime with Eve has been providing me a lot of insight about that and sharing videos, and she splices it up. She does great work. You got to follow her because she knows, like, she is the top person that on YouTube, I believe, that has been, on this Michael Vaughan case. And I'm dumbfounded it has not gotten it's gotten 1/10 of the attention like Summer Wells. And I don't understand that because that's a 5-year-old boy. 5 years old. Same Summer Wells when Summer Wells went missing. Both 6 now. 5-year-old boy just vanishes. Just vanishes. Last seen with his father. Last seen with his father. And I know that there is a lot of Vaughn supporters out there that believe that family and believe that there was a kidnapping. I haven't seen any evidence of it. I haven't seen any evidence of a kidnapping at all. Authorities think it's a possibility, but I haven't seen any evidence at all of a kidnapping. Zero. And then I just put out a video. Before this video about some weird, when I give out my email and when I give out my email, a lot of people send me tips, but I got a weird one today. Somebody was trying to claim that they stole Summer's toy from her property on Ben Hill and was trying to sell it to me for like $50. Trying to sell her big wheel. It looked like a big wheel, or it looked like, I don't know what it was, a toy. Like, I'll give it to you for $50. Now, I don't know if it was a troll. I don't know if it was somebody pranking me or they were dead serious. There is some disturbed people out there. Don Wells admitted that people were coming around his house and he had to get a shotgun and fire shots because weirdos were coming around there. He said psychics and mediums and people stepping on the property. The next door neighbor that I spoke to, the next door neighbor there that lives with the Sherfleys. Sherfley lives there with the girlfriend. I talked to that property owner there. And Jeremy Overbay. Talked to him on the phone. And he was saying, like, there was crazy people wandering around his yard looking for Summer on his property, going up to knocking on his door, putting cameras in his mom's face, who was sick. They had to put cameras up and no trespassing signs. So, people are around. People come around. So let me know your thoughts. Subscribe to my channel, share, hit the notification button. Today is the anniversary of Michael Vaughan. I haven't seen any candlelight vigils for Michael Vaughan. Have you? Have anyone seen any candlelight vigils of Michael Vaughan? I haven't. Maybe I'll light a candle tonight and pay respect. It's been 1 year. It's been 1 year since Michael Vaughan went missing. It's something interesting about the press conference that the authorities gave the other day on Michael Vaughan was, the parents were out there with him. Saw the FBI there. I was trying to look at the FBI's body language. There's one FBI agent that was with Chief Huff standing behind him. So if you're looking at Chief Huff, he's on the left. And he's kind of eyeing the Vaughns. I don't know what his take is. Does he think the Vaughns are innocent victims of a kidnapping, or is there more to it, or they're just gaslighting them, or just playing coy? I don't know. But the media was just interviewed the Vaughns again, Brandy and Tyler, and was asking them, you guys aren't cleared. When do you think you're going to get cleared? When do you think the authorities are going to publicly clear them? They're not cleared, people. They're not cleared. Authorities have not publicly cleared the parents of Michael Vaughan. They're not cleared. I can't see how Tyler Vaughan can be cleared. If you don't have no evidence of a kidnapping, you got none. It's just the suspicion that possibly there was a kidnapping, but, a lot of times when we see kidnappings and stuff like that, there's surveillance of somebody being kidnapped. We haven't seen that. So I'm not buying it. Maybe Tyler Vaughan will come out more and talk. I truly doubt it. A lot of times with the guilty bottle up, I don't care what they think about how they'll be perceived, public perception. My eyes healed, by the way. I had eye surgery. So 156 people, not as busy as tonight as normal. What is everyone off YouTube, or they just find true crime boring in this moment? Or are we just at a stalemate? Any other cases that should be discussed? Leave it in the comment. Any other cases out there of what's going on? Lots of lives tonight. Probably it. People are more popular. But hopefully I provided some insight. I'm going to bounce. Stay strong, everyone. God bless. Tomorrow, okay, so I was planning on today to talk about Don Wells' two wives. Don Wells, two wives. Pamela and Candace. So tomorrow I will post documentation and I'll come up with an analysis. I will say that I am in direct contact with Don Wells' side of the family, who are very nice to me. Direct contact with Don Wells' side of the family, who I communicate regularly with and provide me insight and information. I got it. I got it with them. And I'm not going to say much on it yet, elaborate, but yes, I am with them, and we chat, we communicate and stuff, and they're supportive of us. They're supportive of us. Believe it or not, there's Don Wells' side of the family that are supportive of us and what we're doing to try to find Summer. Very supportive. Very supportive. So not all Don's families is supporting them. Not all of them. See you guys later. Have a great day. God bless. Justice for Dylan Rounds. Justice for Michael Vaughan. Justice for Summer Wells, of course. All right. Stay safe. God bless. Bye. See you tomorrow.